Hello everyone. So in this video, we're gonna install the Visual Studio 2019 environment because now we reach to the point where we need a proper development environment to build further capabilities on SQL Server. Why I'm saying it, because in the last videos you have seen the capabilities of setting up the databases, and we have seen Azure, how we have built the Azure SQL and we load the data. And if you remember, I saved the package in my local file system. If you haven't seen that video, please use the link in the description and you can watch it before you look into this video. That will provide you the idea that why we are now going to install Visual Studio. Visual Studio itself is more like the bunch of tools that Microsoft has built over the time, and it provides us the full development capabilities to build any sort of product using the .NET technology. What we are going to use it for initially, we are going to use it for building the SSIS packages, which provide us the ETL capabilities within on-premises environment and within the cloud and on-premises, which is called the hybrid environments as well. It also provides the opportunity to connect to multiple data sources. We're gonna see once we get in. It also help us, the Visual Studio environment help us to set up the report development capability. Although we have the Visual Studio report builder that we can use, but report builder is more like the RAD or business kind of tool which business can use to build the report if they want to build it. But if we really want to go deeper and use the dev capabilities and power, we need obviously Visual Studio environment. I'm going to show you we have the corresponding templates available within the Visual Studio. And last but not the least is the analysis services, which is another powerful concept that Microsoft is providing. I think since to SQL Server 2000 to the businesses who are using SQL Server, and now it's really mature, and especially Microsoft put a lot of effort to make it really a robust application that can provide some state-of-the-art analytical capabilities to most of the business. And you can verify it by looking at how Microsoft is enhancing Power BI by integrating the DAX component, which is obviously integral part of the analysis services tabular stack into the Power BI. So imagine Microsoft is more like moving away from multidimensional analytical modeling is still there, but obviously you have now the new model which is tabular based, and we're going to see all these things one by one in their corresponding video. So don't worry if you don't understand it. Everything we're going to actually discuss it in the corresponding video. So, and coming back to analysis services, analysis service provide you the capabilities to run the cubes based on the tabular model and the multidimensional model. These cubes, you can use them within the Power BI or any other dashboard tool that you want to use to build the nice, analytics dashboard that you can then present back to the business, and they can use it for their own strategic decision making. So these three templates, they are now part of the Visual Studio. Obviously, we have Visual Studio available in multiple versions. The version which we're gonna use is the community version, because we are using it for the development or for more like I would say non-professional development or sandbox and R&D activities. We are not going to use it for any business purpose. We are not building any application that we're going to actually use for any profit-oriented purpose. And keep in mind, guys, if you need to build something which you want to sell out, or which you want to use for any business purposes, morally or legally we should go and buy a license. And Microsoft has provided 3 licenses: professional, enterprise, and community. Community edition really help you to build any sort of POC or any concept, or any feasibility model that you have in your mind, and you want to just put it into the reality and see whether it's going to work as you're thinking or not. But beyond that, as soon as that come into the picture and you are comfortable and you start gaining the interest from the business, it's better to go and check with Microsoft sales. They are very responsive in terms of clarifying the licensing terms and agreement, and even help you to buy the right licensing for your product, so you'll stay within the legal boundaries while working with Real Studio. In our case, because it's more like the educational activities and I'm recording these videos for YouTube, so I don't need the professional enterprise license. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use the community, and you can see, you can just go realstudio.com, or you can even search it within in Google, and it will land you right in there. So let me see if I can go back. So yeah, so that's, as soon as I hit the Real Studio Community Edition, you can see the very first link you're gonna see is the Visual Studio landing page, where you can download the latest version. Obviously, latest version is always going to be on the top, because that's the latest product Microsoft prefer to sell it to their customer. And you can see, like we discussed, we have 3 more licenses available: 3 product types, community, which is completely free. Isn't it a great thing? Coming back, professional, which has comparatively more feature, and you can use it to build business oriented product. And then we have the enterprise is the I would say the superset of all the features that Microsoft has provided into their product. And it obviously, once you compare these two, you're going to find it that what are the feature differences. But we are prefer to use 2019, so you can say still want an old version. So yeah, I want to use an old version. So you can see there's a nice list that you can actually use to download the old version. So I'm going to stick with 2019. I need the 2019, and the link is right there. And if I click on it, it's going to actually take me to my subscription. And one thing, this subscription is free, so don't confuse with the subscription. You can come in here in this tab, and you can read out all the terms and conditions about, and some information about your subscription. You can see the type is free. You're not going to be charged by Microsoft for using that subscription. It's only once you move from your free subscription to the professional enterprise, then you have to pay for the license, which is obviously not the case at this stage. So we are pretty good. So I've already downloaded the Visual Studio. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to come back, so you can see it's has been downloaded in here. I can even go and I can use it from, yeah. So that, I think that's the better one. Let me just run it. I have the community edition. Yeah, I need to install. I need to let the Visual Studio install the requirements. It's pretty fast. Hopefully won't take much time. It has downloaded the required component, and now it is installing those components to prepare the installer. So right now, what it is doing, it is preparing the installer. It's not doing any installation. It is preparing the installer for us to select the option, so it can go and install those options, which looks quite fast. Yeah, we are back in the business. What I'm going to do, let me just close Azure Data Studio, so it might, yeah. So you can see the installer has been changed significantly. If you have used previously Visual Studio 2005, 2008, and 2010, now the installer has been changed significantly, because Microsoft has enriched the installer with lots and lots of capabilities. And obviously, it's more like a one shop for developing any kind of application, whether it's going to be a desktop, a web application, even a mobile app, the data science application, and even a database related application. So everything is combined under one umbrella. That's why you have a really big set of features under one installer. So I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select, obviously I'm going to use Azure because I need to use Azure function at some stage. So I need Azure as well. So let me just see. Yeah. And I can use .NET framework. Let me stick to 4.8. Web deploy window communication framework. I don't need it. Now, the second one is I don't need the dev environment, but just in case, in future, if you want to build any C# application, I can go and I can use it. So you can C# and real basic is there. I don't need Express Edition because I already have the SQL Server installed. So data tools. Let me just quickly go through cloud services core tool. Okay, and let me cancel because it is required by some Azure related services. So I'll just keep it just in case I don't want to reinstall in the future. So yeah, other tools that you can see data storage capability. Yeah, I need to use it. And now, right now, you can see the stack of tool that we are going to use for building the SSIS, SSRS, and SSAS, it generally called SQL Server data tools, and now that is part of the Visual Studio, and you can see it has been selected. It is under the data storage and processing capabilities, which with a minor challenge, which I'm going to show you shortly. Right? Keep in mind, it is sitting in here. We have selected it. Everything is good. Yeah, we're going to use the Azure Data Lake and Streaming Analytics tool. And you can see, if you want to work with Azure, make yourself familiar with the Visual Studio. It will really help you to build some really great scripts or apps that will help you to interact with the cloud as well. I'm not going to use data science and analytical application on this machine, so I'm good with that. Yeah, so these are the ones which I'm going to use it. Let me see. There's a bunch list of there's a big list of feature that we can go through, and if we want to unselect or select anything, we can do it. So let me see. Yeah, there are source and service reference. Maybe class designer. I'm just quickly going through and looking for what might help me in the future, and we will discuss all these components once we use them. It's just more like based on the experience, which I just want to see that if I'm not that I'm not missing any of the required feature. Mostly likes related to C++. Yeah, all code language package English installation location. I'm not going to change it, and by saying it now, I'm going to use the same thing, that install while downloading, not like download all and then install. And I hit install, and I let it install the Visual Studio, and I'll see you once it has been installed. I don't want to hold you back. I will come back once the Visual Studio finishes installation. All right, we are back, and the Visual Studio has been installed correctly. There's no issue, and the only thing it is asking me to reboot my system. So what I'll do, I'll just restart the system, and then we'll look at the Visual Studio environment by launching it. So if I just click restart it. All right, so the machine has been rebooted. Let me just log in to the machine, and we'll see the Visual Studio installed and in action. And then as a next step, I'm going to show you what we are going to do to bring the the SQL Server stack within the Visual Studio environment. A bit impatience with the server port here. Just check. I think spinning up. I'm just waiting for the server to completely boot up. And I think we are good. Now we can launch. So you can see now we have the Visual Studio. And let me see what this message is saying to us. Sometimes it's just going to be the thing. So let me just take off this virtual machine bar. So I think we are good now. Yeah. Excellent. So to believe, yeah, I don't need it. That's good. So now coming back all normal. So I'm just going to hit my Visual Studio. Let me run it as an admin. Although I'm with the admin account, but just to make sure. In most of the environment, if you don't even have the local admin permission, don't worry about it. Visual Studio normally load and run properly, even if you don't have the administration rights on your machine. I've seen in many corporates, especially for the dev machines or the data personal machine, they won't normally give the local admin right until unless you're part of IT. So if you're not part of IT, they are reluctant to provide you the local admin capabilities, because that will allow you to install all sort of application on your machine. And now with the new policies and the new mayors, organizations are reluctant to to give full freedom to its even IT stuff on their machine to to download and install whatever they want to do. So it's going to actually ask me to sign in, which I can safely skip because I might do it later, not at this stage. So now you can see the similar pattern like we have seen in Azure, that is asking me, okay, can you customize your environment? So you can see I have a many option, but what I'll do, I'll stay general, and I'm going to use the dark mode at this stage because I prefer to use the dark mode. By the way, whenever you wear the dev hat, so there's some protocol that we follow within the development and world, that one of them is using the dark mode instead of the light mode. So that's for somehow it's the industry standard. So I leave it with you. If you are new to development or you like the light mode or brighter color, feel free to adjust your layout. So it's going to take a little while to set up the environment for us, and then we'll see. And that will only happen for the first time, because now considering we are running it for the first time, so Visual Studio is finishing its setup and setting up setting the whole environment for us. Next time, once you load the Visual Studio, it's gonna be loaded with the normal pace. It's not like gonna take such a long time. Okay, sounds better. So you can see we have a couple of options. We can clone a repo, so that will show that Visual Studio how deeply it is integrated now with the Azure DevOps services. Like you can, if you want to continue work, you can straight away go and clone your repo and start working on your project. You want to open the local project on your drive, you can do it. Even if you want to open the local folder or you want to create a new project, there are multiple options. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna before that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just show you something. Now, Visual Studio has been installed, but for somehow we are unable to find out where the templates which are required for building the SQL Server related application, they are missing by default. We need to bring them, and I'm going to show you how you can configure your Visual Studio 2019 environment to bring these templates. So let me first show you. If I just go and there's nothing in there, which is pretty disappointing, because in the installer, we choose to install the SQL Server data tool, which is a combination of SQL Server integration services, SQL Server reporting services, and SQL Server analysis services. For somehow, there are some complication why they are not coming as part of the initial installation. We need to check maybe with Microsoft at some time through their public portals to ask these questions. What are the glitches? Why they're not integrating them? But fortunately, the resolution is not that complicated. So what we'll do, we'll just go back, go one step back, and we're gonna continue with our code. Now in here, you can see we have the extension. So what we'll do, we'll go to the manage extension and we'll search. So now you can see the extension is there. It is not installed by default. All we need to actually install it. It's gonna download, and at the end, it's gonna ask us to close the Visual Studio to complete the installation process, which I know a bit irrational, but it is what it is. Well, like the good thing is it's pretty simple. Like it's not that complicated. We're almost there. Okay. Now, if I analysis services project, it's the same pattern. Now, the third thing which I'm going to show you, that is really weird because I don't understand why it is different from the other two pattern, but for somehow they have a different pattern for SSIS. So if you want to configure SSIS within the Visual Studio Environment 2019 version, you have to configure SSIS separately, which for somehow I have absolutely no idea why Microsoft has done it in this fashion. Probably a good question to ask with support, or on the technical portals. All right, we are going pretty good with this, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be finished very quickly. In between, I'm not sure that I'm not opening up SQL Server Management Studio yet because I want to configure Visual Studio completely without any issue. Okay. Last but not the least is integration services. Now that's something which is extremely weird. Like, how come that it is not able to uh, configure within the Visual Studio as an extension? So we need to. So now that's the point which I was actually keeping it till this point. We cannot install it through the extension. We have to go and we have to download it as a separate installer, and then we need to install it. So let me just hit and see. It's gonna actually ask me. I need to take you to the website which I'm comfortable. Yeah, you can take me to the website. So my job up to here within the Visual Studio is done. What I'm going to do, I'll just close it off, and I'm going to close the Visual Studio, and you will see it will start configuring the reporting and analysis services. Like I mentioned previously, as soon as you shut down the Visual Studio environment, those two extensions that you have added, they are now in process for configuration and installation. So we'll let it run, and our SQL Studio, sorry, our SSIS is landing as well. So we'll see how it goes. Looks like it is installing something, but what it is. I know there's a lot of installation and other things that we have to do, because that's something we have to do once we are building the dev environment. Once you understand all these pieces, you don't need to do it again and again. Put it in this way, you only need to do it one if you want to build the local dev environment. And obviously local dev environment provide you lots and lots of features and capabilities. It provides you even build the Azure application on your local machine. We're going to later on see how it can help us to build the data pipelines, the reports, a lot of, I would say, apps that we can later on use for our data related capabilities. And obviously, if we want to stick with the local ETL, then the whole SSIS package is playing a role. And if we want to build the local cube, then analysis service comes into the picture. But somehow Google is not behaving on the machine. But the good thing, it is downloading. So I'm happy. So you can see it has installed two extensions which we have downloaded, and now it's configuring them. So let it configure. And I do believe that one. Just refresh. Hopefully we can see in still. Fault. Let it install, and I'll be back once the whole thing has been installed and downloaded. Stay here. All right, everyone. So like you can see, the both extension has been installed successfully. So let me close it up, and then we can see uh, our integration services installer has been downloaded successfully as well. So I'm going to install it as well. So let me just run it. And by the way, I'm going to put the download link into the description, so you can download it by yourself. It's some I would say irrational method to install multiple extension, but like I mentioned, I believe Microsoft is still working to get it integrated like other two extension, and I think it's just a matter of the time. So let's install. Yeah, we are going to install the language as English United States. Yeah, and the layout looks quite familiar. Like it is similar as if you remember of SQL Server Management Studio. which is good. Yeah, we are going to install it. So look, it's already detected that we have the community edition installed. So what's gonna do is gonna actually install it within the community edition, which I'm fine. And now I do believe the setup progress is moving on. Let it run. It's the last extension, and then our dev environment is fully ready. What we'll do at the end of this installation, we'll create a project and we'll see if we manage to get the project working and if it start compiling. And if you remember, yesterday I have saved the package, especially for the in the Azure SQL video. Once I loaded the data into my Azure SQL database, at the end of that import export wizard, I stored that file on my local system. And today I'm going to show you at the end of this video that how we can repurpose those packages which have been created as part of these import and export wizard to enhance them, to actually add more and more functionality, because these import and export wizards are very good starting point for you. It's more like, a similar kind of template we can get from the gallery, get your understanding right on the template, and then you start your journey from there. And based on your requirement, you start modifying it, enhancing it, changing it till it start addressing your requirement completely. So that's the whole method of working with all these new technologies which are now coming to us very quickly. So it's not like you're gonna actually go deeper and start understanding from thoroughly a product and then use it. Modern method of learning, just you understand what you need and then move on, and the next requirement is going to actually open another gate for you to do a research, understand and implement, and that's how you actually enhance your knowledge. So hopefully I'm waiting for it to be completed, which I do believe it will do. So let's wait for it to be finished and then we'll continue. All right, looks like we have successfully installed the integrations service project as well. So let me just close it out, and now I think we are pretty good to go and create the SQL Server services project. So okay, let me just run it. And now I can spin up the SQL Server Management Studio as well, because now I'm going to build a full-fledged end-to-end solution to load the data into Azure SQL. While it is opening up, I can go and now I can create a new project. And you can observe it more. I'm now installing these application. It is slowing down the server performance because remember, it's a virtual machine with a limited resources. Obviously, if I'm using any cloud-based machine or any machine with less apps on it, especially from the server perspective, then obviously the efficiency is going up, or I need to increase the resources. So for example, if I have 3 CPUs, let me change it to yeah. So you can see I can increase another CPU in it, and I can increase. It's already have 11 gig. If I'm still facing any problem, what I can do, I can actually increase the memory on the the host machine through VirtualBox and see whether it's going to improve the performance or not. But I think at this stage we are good. Now you can see all these projects which have been installed recently. They are now coming. You can see analysis services. You can see tabular model is there. Power Pivot is there. So you will see them in their respective video. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to create an integration project. Now you can see we have the integration project. I'm just going to create an integration project from the testing perspective, just to make sure that whatever we have installed is working. So what I'll do, I'll just place it. Let me see if where I can. I think I have a pen. I don't want to put it in there. What I'll do, I'm going to create a new package. Yeah. And I'm going to use it, right? So yeah, and that's going to be underscore. I'm going to load. So for example, I'm going to prepare an ETL package that's going to load the personal information. So I'm going to say personal. Or even I can say, let's say we have our, let me see what project we can do in this regard. We can create a project that will, yeah, human resource, because I just want to keep the concept broader. Maybe I use this package, use this project a lot to add more and more enhancement. That's why I'm just giving it a good name, which actually make more sense. I think that makes more sense. So let me just hit create and let it create the project. Just waiting for it to be created. Let me connect to my. Okay, that has nothing to do with the SSIS. It's more like the getting started window, which I'm not care about at this stage. So I think looks like we are good. Our SSIS package has been loaded successfully. So let me just move it on. I have actually a small screen, so I need to change the size. I think that's much better. Okay. Yeah. These are the SSIS toolbar. I can keep it up. Now, what I'm going to do, I don't need the default package, which it has been created, but I'm going to show you now something really amazing. Let me delete it. I don't need it. If you remember yesterday, we in the last video, not yesterday, in the last video, we created an import export package that was loading the data from local database to the cloud-based SQL database. So I'm going to actually repurpose that database now. So I'm just going to, so you can actually do the repurposing with the existing assets through existing package or existing item if you have more than one packages, because most of the time, it only allow you to add one package. So now imagine if you have 5-10 packages, you don't want to do it one by one. So then in that case, you need to right click and load the item. I'm going to show you that in this functionality later. But right now, we'll just click on add existing package. Yeah, I'm going to select from the file system. Second option is SQL Server package store. Don't worry about these two options. We'll see later. And let me just go to my raw packages. If you remember, I put it in the raw packages, and you can see it is Azure SQL data loader. I make it generic because I knew that I'm gonna reuse it. It's just loading it, so I'll just let it load it and then, okay. There we go. So that's our data flow. So if you have some idea about the SSIS package, we have the data flow, which is responsible to transform the row from source to destination sources. You can see we have a destination connection, we have our source connection, and both connections are going to be defined under our connection manager. I can convert them, but not at this stage. I'm doing it. I'm just going to first run it. So let me call it Azure SQL data loader. And just for your information, if I refresh your memory, we have a local server and it has a couple of databases. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna use the AdventureWorks 2019 database as our source database. And now, if you remember yesterday, we have connected to our, I think it was SQL. Yeah, that's that. It was SQL 05, which I have created, and then hit connect. Connecting to the server, you can see I have my database Analytica DebDB. That's the Azure SQL based data, which is running in the Azure environment. And let me show you. It has the table product, right? And if I right click, so yes, in the last video when we loaded it, we forgot to run our query to see whether the row has been loaded or not. So now what I'm just going to run this like top 1000. And there you go. You have all these rows have been loaded into it. And keep in mind, guys, this is coming from the cloud. What I'm going to do now, show you how to load it through SSIS package, which we have just prepared to load. I'm just going to truncate this. So double minus that has been used for commenting in SQL Server. I'm just commenting this command because I can run like this, just only this command, but then my query will be saved, like it won't mistakenly truncate my table if I run the whole script, like I press F5. So now you can see there is no record, right? What I'm going to do, last time, if you remember, we did it through the import and export wizard. Now we have the package which has been defined in the SSIS environment, and we can go in and actually we can see our source table and the destination table. And let me just quickly click on that and show it to you. It is coming from the source connection, and I'll show you the source connection shortly. And the table name is STG product, and we can see all the columns, input column and the output column, which are going to be used for the data transformation. The data transformation. And then let me quickly show you the source connection. You can see source connection is defined upon the local server, and it is reading the data from Analytica Deb. Perfect. Now, if I actually show you the destinations connection, you can see the table name is same, and there's a mapping. And so that is like the mapping between source and the destination. So we are getting the data and we are loading it into corresponding fields in the destination table, which is sitting within the Azure environment. So all good, but I'm going to, and let me quickly show you the destination connection as well. So you can see I have the server name, which is now available for me to access, and I have the SQL authentication. I'm using the SQL name and password. I can save my password by let it run. I do believe it has already been stored and it's not showing it in here. So we are pretty good. The database is correct. Let me just cancel it out. And let me first compile to see whether it's going to give me any error. I'm just building it to see. So all success, no failure. We are ready to run the show. So let me just hit start. You can press F5 to run. And whatever package has been started as a start item, that package is going to be executed. Excellent. So it has loaded three rows. And if I come in here and I rerun, voila, I have three rows has been inserted into my Azure-based SQL database. Remember, guys, it's not like your on-premises database. It is the database which is sitting in the Azure environment, and you can use it as a normal database. The best part of it, like it has all the capabilities of expansion in terms of storage, in terms of efficiency. You can allocate more resources. You can downgrade the resources based on the requirement, and that's how you can actually use the elasticity within the database. It is a great feature. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. I'm going to record a couple of videos now on SQL and T-SQL. So if you are not familiar SQL from the data engineering perspective, so you can understand it, because then what we're going to do, we're going to actually run all example within the cloud environment, how cool it is. Like on in that fashion, you're gonna learn the SQL, which is obviously the language of the data, and still the most popular language in today's world. And I'll show you over the time the power of learning SQL language. On the other side, you're gonna actually run it on the Azure SQL, which is more like the cloud-based database. So you are not limited to the on-premises database. You are working directly on the cloud databases, and you are building asset within the cloud environment and utilizing all the features. So by saying it, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.